What if I told you that every single approach women have been taught about attracting men is not just wrong, but actually working against them? That right now, as you're watching this, you might be unknowingly repelling the men you want most, using strategies that feel natural but trigger the exact opposite response in his brain. Stop right there if you think this is about playing games or changing who you are. This isn't manipulation. This is about understanding the hidden psychological wiring that drives male desire, the triggers that activate deep attraction even when he's convinced he's not interested. And I'm about to reveal something most relationship experts will never tell you because it challenges everything they've been teaching. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Men don't choose women the way you think they do. It's not about being prettier, funnier, or more available than other women. Male attraction operates on a completely different frequency, one that bypasses his logical mind and hits him at a primal, instinctive level. When you understand this frequency, you can spark intense desire in any man, even if he initially sees you as just a friend, even if he's told himself he's not looking for anything serious. But here's where it gets dangerous. If you apply these principles incorrectly or skip even one crucial element, you won't just fail to attract him, you'll actually cement yourself in the friend zone permanently. So if you've ever wondered why some women effortlessly captivate men who seemed completely uninterested while others chase endlessly and get nowhere, pay attention, because I'm about to show you exactly how to rewire his brain and make him see you as the woman he can't afford to lose. The biggest lie women have been sold is that men are simple creatures driven purely by physical attraction. But neuroscience reveals something shocking. A man's brain doesn't just process attraction, it creates it through a complex system of emotional triggers that most women accidentally deactivate. When you understand these triggers, you realize why he can meet a stunning woman and feel nothing, then encounter someone completely different and become obsessed. Male desire isn't logical, it's neurochemical. His brain releases dopamine, norepinephrine, and oxytocin in response to specific emotional states, not physical attributes. And here's the breakthrough most people miss. You can create these states intentionally, regardless of your looks, age, or dating history. But it requires abandoning everything you've been taught about winning him over. The first hidden trigger is psychological tension. Most women try to make things easy for men, removing all obstacles and challenges, but his brain interprets ease as low value. When there's no tension, no mystery, no emotional variability, his dopamine system shuts down. He becomes bored without understanding why. But when you create the right kind of tension, subtle unpredictability mixed with genuine warmth, his brain lights up like a Christmas tree. Another secret trigger is emotional exclusivity. This isn't about being physically exclusive. It's about making him feel emotions with you that he doesn't experience anywhere else. When your presence consistently generates unique feelings, curiosity, excitement, deep understanding, his brain begins associating these positive states with you specifically. He starts craving your company because you've become his emotional drug. The third trigger most women destroy is the feeling of earning your interest. If you're immediately available, constantly affirming, always accommodating, his subconscious mind categorizes you as easily obtained. But when he has to invest energy, time, and emotional effort to earn your attention and approval, his brain releases attachment chemicals that create genuine desire. This isn't about being difficult. It's about having standards that make him feel accomplished when he meets them. Finally, there's the mirror neuron effect. When you genuinely understand his emotional world, not just his words, but his deeper motivations, fears, and desires, his mirror neurons fire in synchronization with yours. This creates an unconscious sense of connection that feels almost mystical to him. He can't explain why, but being with you feels like coming home. Most women approach attraction backwards. They focus on what they can give him instead of what they can make him feel. But attraction isn't transactional, it's experiential. And once you learn to create the right experiences, his resistance melts away naturally. Confidence might be the most misunderstood concept in dating. Most women think confidence means being loud, aggressive, or constantly proving their worth. But the confidence that makes men desperate to be with you is something entirely different. It's a quiet, unshakable knowing that exists independent of his validation. And when you embody this type of confidence, everything changes. True magnetic confidence starts with a radical shift in perspective. Instead of asking, how can I make him like me? You start asking, is he worthy of my time and energy? This isn't arrogance, it's self-respect. And men are biologically programmed to pursue what they perceive as valuable. When you operate from a place of genuine self-worth, not fake it till you make it confidence, but real inner knowing, he senses it immediately. This confidence shows up in micro behaviors that most people never notice, but men feel intensely. It's in how you pause before responding, how you maintain eye contact without desperation, how you laugh genuinely instead of seeking approval. It's the way you take up space without apology and express opinions without needing agreement. These subtle signals communicate high value more powerfully than any words could. But here's the secret layer. Magnetic confidence includes comfortable vulnerability. You're not trying to appear perfect or invulnerable. You can share struggles, admit mistakes, and show emotion without your self-worth crumbling. This combination of strength and openness creates a depth that most women are afraid to reveal. And that depth is absolutely intoxicating to men who are tired of surface-level interactions. Confident women also understand the power of selective availability. Your time, attention, and emotional energy aren't freely given to everyone. You have a full life, clear priorities, and standards for how you're treated. When he recognizes that access to you is earned, not assumed, his desire intensifies exponentially. He stops taking your presence for granted and starts treasuring it. The most magnetic confidence flows from inner fulfillment, not external validation. When your happiness, sense of purpose, and emotional stability come from within, you become incredibly attractive because you don't need him to complete you. You want his company, but you don't need his approval. And that independence is like catnip to masculine energy. This type of confidence can't be faked long term. It has to be cultivated from the inside out. When you invest in your own growth, pursue your passions, maintain friendships, and create a life you love, that inner glow becomes impossible to ignore. Men are drawn to women who are going somewhere, who have their own mission and vision. Remember, desperation repels, but confidence with warmth attracts irresistibly. When you know your worth and simultaneously remain open to connection, you create an energy that men find absolutely magnetic. The difference between women who get ignored and women who become obsessions isn't always obvious. It's often found in the subtle, almost invisible behaviors that happen beneath the radar of conscious awareness. These micro interactions plant seeds in his subconscious mind that grow into powerful desire over time. And most women have no idea these techniques even exist. One of the most potent, subtle behaviors is strategic eye contact variation. While most women either avoid eye contact out of nervousness or maintain it too intensely, magnetic women use a rhythm. They'll hold his gaze just long enough to create intimacy, then look away with a slight smile, creating space and mystery. This pattern triggers both connection and curiosity, making him want to recapture that moment of intensity. Another invisible behavior is the power of selective physical touch. A brief touch on his forearm while laughing, fingertips brushing his hand when passing something, a light touch on his shoulder during conversation. These micro touches release oxytocin and create positive associations with your presence. But the key is timing and subtlety. Too much becomes obvious, too little goes unnoticed. There's also something incredibly powerful about emotional mirroring at the right moments. When he shares something important, instead of immediately relating it to your own experience, you reflect his emotional state back to him. I can see how proud that makes you feel. Or, that sounds like it really challenged you. This creates a sense of being deeply understood that few people provide. Magnetic women also master the art of playful tension. They'll make a teasing comment with perfect Tim. Ing, challenge his opinion with a smile, or create harmless competition in conversation. This isn't being mean or difficult, it's creating emotional variability that keeps his interest engaged. Banter and playfulness activate the same brain chemicals as excitement and adventure. Your vocal patterns also influence him subconsciously. Speaking slightly slower than normal, lowering your voice during important moments, and using pauses strategically can make ordinary conversations feel intimate and significant. Most people rush through conversations, but when you create space and rhythm in your speech, it commands attention. Perhaps the most powerful, subtle behavior is emotional authenticity without neediness. When you express genuine excitement about something you love, show real concern about something that matters, or laugh spontaneously at something amusing, it reveals your authentic self without seeking his approval. This realness cuts through the games and performance that exhaust men in modern dating. The secret is that these behaviors must feel natural, not calculated. They work because they enhance your authentic personality rather than masking it. When you master these subtle arts, attraction stops feeling forced and starts flowing effortlessly. Attraction might capture his attention, but emotional connection is what captures his heart. You can be physically stunning and intellectually impressive, but if a man doesn't feel something deeper when he's with you, he'll never fully invest. Creating emotional intimacy isn't about dramatic revelations or intense conversations. It's about making him feel safe to show you who he really is beneath his social masks. The foundation of emotional connection is creating psychological safety. Most people, especially men, walk through life wearing armor, protecting themselves from judgment, rejection, and vulnerability. When you become a person with whom he can drop that armor, even partially, you become irreplaceable. This happens through consistent, non-judgmental responses, genuine curiosity about his thoughts and feelings, and demonstrating that his authentic self is welcome in your presence. One profound technique is asking questions that bypass surface conversation and reach his inner world. Instead of, "How was your day?" try, "What's been on your mind lately?" Instead of complimenting his achievements, acknowledge his character. "I admire how thoughtful you are about people's feelings." These approaches invite him to share deeper parts of himself while showing that you see beyond his external presentation. Emotional connection also grows through shared vulnerability. When you reveal something real about yourself, your fears, dreams, childhood memories, or personal struggles, it creates space for him to reciprocate. But the key is sharing without neediness or expectation. You're not using vulnerability to manipulate closeness, but offering it as a gift that he can either receive or not. Creating emotional intimacy also involves remembering and referring back to meaningful things he's shared. When you bring up something he mentioned weeks ago that was important to him, it demonstrates that he matters to you beyond the moment. Men rarely experience this level of attentiveness, and it creates profound feelings of significance and connection. Physical affection plays a crucial role, but not in the way most people think. It's not about sexual touch, but about comfort and warmth. A hand on his back during a difficult conversation, sitting close enough that your shoulders touch, or simply being physically relaxed in his presence signals emotional safety and acceptance. The deepest emotional connections form when you can hold space for his complete emotional range. Most people are uncomfortable with anything beyond surface happiness or mild frustration. But when you can be present with his excitement, his doubts, his anger, his sadness, without trying to fix or change his feelings, you become a rare sanctuary in his life. Remember, emotional connection isn't something you create for him. It's something you create together. When you show up authentically, create safety for vulnerability, and genuinely care about his inner experience, you invite him into the kind of intimacy that most people spend their entire lives searching for. Even the most magnetic women can unknowingly sabotage their own success. These mistakes aren't character flaws or signs of weakness. They're common patterns that stem from misunderstanding how attraction actually works in the male mind. The good news is that once you recognize these patterns, they're completely reversible, and avoiding them can dramatically change your dating results. The first major mistake is overfunctioning in the connection. When you like someone, it's natural to want to nurture the relationship by doing more, giving more, and being more available. But masculine energy is wired to pursue and provide. When you do all the emotional heavy lifting, plan all the dates, initiate all the conversations, and solve all the problems, you inadvertently emasculate him and eliminate the chase that creates desire. Another common mistake is emotional overinvestment before he's earned it. You start imagining a future together, analyzing every interaction, and centering your emotional state around his responses. This energy is palpable, even if you think you're hiding it well. Men can sense when someone is more invested than they are, and it creates pressure that often drives them away. The solution isn't playing games, but maintaining your own emotional center and letting the connection develop organically. Many women also make the mistake of trying to convince him of their value through constant accommodation. You agree with everything he says, laugh at jokes that aren't funny, and suppress your own preferences to avoid any potential conflict. But this people-pleasing behavior signals insecurity and makes you forgettable. Men are drawn to women with opinions, boundaries, and the confidence to disagree respectfully when appropriate. There's also the trap of immediate availability. When he texts, you respond instantly. When he calls, you drop everything. Wants to see you, you rearrange your schedule. While this feels like showing interest, it actually communicates that your time isn't valuable and your life isn't full. Men unconsciously assign value based on scarcity and effort required. Another destructive pattern is seeking constant reassurance about his feelings, asking where you stand, requesting validation of his interest, or needing frequent confirmation of the relationship status creates an anxious energy that repels masculine energy. Confident, attractive women operate from inner security, not external validation. Perhaps the most damaging mistake is losing yourself in the relationship. Your hobbies disappear, your friends get neglected, and your personal goals take a back seat to his needs and schedule. When your entire world revolves around him, you become less interesting and put enormous pressure on him to be your sole source of happiness and fulfillment. Finally, many women make the mistake of trying to logic their way into his heart. You explain why you're perfect for him, list your compatibility, and present rational arguments for why he should commit. But attraction isn't logical, it's emotional. You can't convince someone to feel something they don't already feel. The solution to all these mistakes is the same. Maintain your own center, live your own life, and let the connection unfold naturally. When you stop trying so hard to make it work and start focusing on being the most authentic, fulfilled version of yourself, everything changes. One of the most transformative concepts in attraction is understanding and embodying your natural feminine energy. This isn't about traditional gender roles or stereotypes. It's about tapping into a way of being that creates natural polarity and magnetic pull. When you understand this energy and how it interacts with masculine energy, you unlock a level of attraction that goes far deeper than anything you can achieve through techniques or strategies. Feminine energy is fundamentally about flow, receptivity, and emotional depth. While masculine energy tends to be linear, goal-oriented, and structured, feminine energy is cyclical, intuitive, and experiential. Neither is better than the other, but when they come together, they create incredible chemistry and balance. Most women in modern society have learned to operate primarily in masculine energy, which can actually repel masculine men who are looking for polarity and balance. The first aspect of feminine energy is presence over productivity. Instead of constantly doing, achieving, and checking things off your list, feminine energy finds power in simply being. This means being fully present in conversations, savoring experiences instead of rushing through them, and finding beauty in moments rather than always focusing on outcomes. When you embody this presence, men feel more relaxed and masculine around you. Feminine energy also embraces emotional expression and intuition. While masculine energy often suppresses emotion in favor of logic, feminine energy allows feelings to flow naturally. This doesn't mean being dramatic or unstable. It means being authentic about your emotional experience, trusting your instincts, and allowing your natural empathy and compassion to guide your interactions. Another key aspect is receptivity instead of constant giving. Feminine energy knows how to receive compliments gracefully, accept help without guilt, and allow others to give to them. Many women struggle with this because they've been conditioned to be constantly giving and nurturing. But when you can receive a man's efforts, attention, and affection with appreciation rather than immediately reciprocating, it allows him to feel masculine and valuable. Feminine energy also embraces mystery and depth over transparency and logic. This means maintaining some enigma, having layers that unfold over time, and trusting that you don't need to explain everything about yourself immediately. Men are captivated by depth and complexity, not because they want to solve puzzles, but because they're drawn to richness and substance. The most powerful aspect of feminine energy is self-love and self-care. When you prioritize your own well-being, pursue activities that bring you joy, and treat yourself with the